testimony. So the main reason I took the course was to try and help my friends who knew of Jesus, but they didn't know, but they did not follow him. I noticed that some of my friends have stressful lives or struggle with trauma from the past, and I wanted them to be healed through Jesus, but I didn't know how to approach it so before taking this course, I didn't really know what to say to my friends, to those friends who needed God. So I just told them that Jesus loves them, or to share a Bible verse, but I didn't know what to say beyond that. And I also didn't know that much details about the Christian life, or like what sin is, like what the elements of sin are. Because I had never taken a Bible study course before, I never thought about those deeper questions. And so I decided to take this course to see how could I help my friends and answer my own questions that I never thought of before, like what elements of sin are. I will admit, sometimes when it's time for a class, I didn't want to go and would rather stay home, the same way that sometimes I don't want to go to a class to school. But of course, this is a flawed way of thinking, because God is not a class, and I shouldn't think of an opportunity to be closer to God and to learn more about Him to be a burden. I learned this during one of the classes, since I even felt Jesus' presence during the class, as if He was sitting beside me. And that's when I realized I was making an important step in my spiritual journey, and I tried my best to stay focused throughout the class and throughout the course. This was also significant because it came when I wanted to stay home and do something else, but now that I was at the class, and Jesus showed me His presence and made me realize something. I was becoming closer to God throughout the course, and I was learning for example, I was learning about the Bible's history and Jesus' life journey, from the places He visited in Israel, and I was learning more about Christianity in general. I was getting answers to questions about Jesus or the holy life that I hadn't thought about before. So for example, I learned about the elements of sin. One of the elements of sin that is related to my testimony is acts not done in faith. Is knowing the good and not doing it. But I knew I wanted to be closer to God, but I was thinking about what I wanted to do in the moment rather than what God wanted me to do. I was thinking about having free time for myself instead of giving my life up for God by going to the class. So my sin was clouding my judgment and trying to stray me away from God when I was trying to be closer to Him. When I realized this, I prayed to God to forgive me of my sins and to help me stay focused on what God's plan was. After this, before any class would start, I wouldn't think of it as a burden, rather as a sign of God's love, that He wanted me to be closer to Him, and so I could be happier and to help my friends, which of course is the main reason I took the course to begin with. So this made me realize an important lesson from this course, that in order for any of us to be closer to God, we have to break down those walls and that we find scary or annoying, and jump at opportunities to learn more about God. It may be hard at first, but God is patient and is waiting for us to come to Him. The disconnect between us and God occurs because God is always with us, but we are not always with God. God allows us to do amazing things, but we still have to act them out ourselves. If we want to be closer to God, we must come to Him. It is exactly what is said in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 13, where God says, "If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me." Of course, the key word here is wholeheartedly. We cannot approach Him if we are clouded by sin like I was. We need to seek Him out truthfully and honestly, and this is what made me realize that I wasn't helping my friends the way I should have when they needed spiritual help. Before taking the course, I was praying for my friends to be healed through Jesus, or to overcome the odds and have some stress in their life relieved. And while that is fine, and it's not necessarily wrong, it's not the way I should have been approaching it. Instead of praying just, "Oh Jesus, help them and have their sins and stress to be relieved," I should have been praying for my friends to find Jesus instead. I should have been praying for my friends to seek out for Him. Not for Jesus to find them, but for them to find Jesus. Because again, God is always with us. Jesus doesn't need to find us. He has already found us and is with us. We're the ones who need to come to find Jesus. And so, I'm thankful for learning that, and I'm thankful that that was one of the main things I learned from this course. Now that I've completed the course, I've learned that every act done by God has an explanation. Even when we don't know the answer to it now, God knows the answer to it and will reveal it in time. I've been able to understand that over time, and thanks to this course. I learned the value of asking the ones to come to Jesus, and I'm more confident to show others Jesus' presence through me. And I've accepted the way God works. The way God works is not always how non-Christians think, which is why it's important for us to connect to God ourselves to find the answers. I've grown spiritually from this course, and I will continue to grow in the coming years as well. I'm glad I took the course overall. I learned a lot, and I was able to come closer to God. So that was my experience with the Living Life Bible Study course. Thank you to God for giving me this opportunity to grow, and thank you for listening to my testimony.